Change in 24 days may sound difficult at first, but the truth is that a human life can begin transforming the moment a person decides that enough is enough and that a better version of themselves must be created. Because change does not start with big actions. It starts with a decision deep inside the heart, a quiet promise that from today things will be different, and the journey of 24 days begins with awareness, with realizing that time is moving forward whether we act or not, and if we truly want to improve our life, our mindset, our habits, our discipline, and our future, then we must take control of our days, because every day is a small piece of the life we are building. And the first day of this journey is not about doing everything perfectly. It is about opening your eyes and understanding who you are right now, where you stand in life, what habits are helping you and what habits are destroying your potential. And on the first day you take a deep breath and promise yourself that you will try, even if it feels uncomfortable, even if it feels slow, because change is not magic, it is a process. And the first few days of this 24-day transformation are about cleaning your mind from negativity, letting go of excuses, and understanding that your future depends on the actions you take daily, not the dreams you only think about. And during the first 3 days you begin observing your routine. You notice how you spend your time, how much time you waste scrolling on your phone, how often you delay important work, how often you tell yourself that you will start tomorrow, and slowly you realize that tomorrow has been repeating itself for a long time. And this realization becomes powerful because awareness creates the beginning of discipline, and you begin waking up a little earlier than usual, maybe not perfectly early, but earlier than before. And you start giving yourself quiet time in the morning to think about your life, your goals, your direction, because when the world is silent, your mind becomes clearer, and you start writing down what you truly want from life, not what people expect from you, but what your heart wants. Maybe you want success, maybe you want peace, maybe you want financial stability, maybe you want confidence, maybe you want respect. And once you write it down, something inside you begins to shift, because written goals have power. And on day 4 you realize that change requires action, not just thinking, so you begin building small habits, not huge impossible routines that break after 2 days, but small simple habits that you can repeat every single day, such as moving your body for 20 minutes, drinking more water, reading a few pages of a good book, and reducing distractions that drain your energy. And during these days you may struggle, because the old version of you wants to stay comfortable, the old habits want to pull you back. Your mind might say that this is difficult or unnecessary, but this is the moment where real transformation begins, because growth always feels uncomfortable in the beginning, and every time you continue despite the discomfort, you become mentally stronger, and by the 5th or 6th day you start noticing small changes. Maybe you feel slightly more energetic, maybe your mind feels a little clearer, maybe you feel proud that you are keeping promises to yourself, and that feeling is important, because self-respect grows when you follow your own commitments. And during days 7 and 8 you continue strengthening your routine, waking up, moving your body, learning something new, focusing on progress instead of perfection, and slowly your mind begins to understand that you are serious about change. And by the 2nd week of the 24-day journey, something interesting happens. The excitement of starting fades a little, and this is where most people quit, because the motivation is not as strong as the first day, and life distractions try to pull you back again. But this stage is the real test of discipline, because discipline means continuing even when motivation disappears. And during days 9 to 14 you begin focusing deeply on improving one important skill in your life. Maybe it is communication, maybe it is learning something online, maybe it is improving your mindset, maybe it is working harder toward your goals. And every day you give focused time to this skill without distractions, and you start realizing that consistent effort creates confidence, because every day you are becoming slightly better than yesterday. And as your discipline grows, your self-belief grows too, and the people around you might start noticing that something about you is changing. Maybe your attitude is different, maybe you are more focused, maybe you complain less and work more. And this stage is powerful because you are building mental strength, the kind of strength that many people never develop because they give up too early. And by the middle of the journey, you begin understanding that change is not just about actions, it is about identity. You are no longer the person who always delays things. You are becoming someone who takes responsibility for their time and future. And during days 15 to 20 your confidence begins growing naturally. Not because you are pretending to be confident, but because you are proving to yourself that you can stay consistent. And when a person keeps promises to themselves again and again, their mind begins trusting them. And trust in yourself is one of the strongest forms of confidence. And during this stage, you start improving your communication, your body language, your thinking patterns. You start replacing negative thoughts with constructive ones. Instead of saying, "I cannot do this," you start saying, "I will learn how to do this." And this small change in thinking has a huge impact on your progress. And you begin surrounding yourself with positive content, motivational ideas, useful knowledge, because what you feed your mind shapes your future. And you realize that success is not created in a single moment. It is created in small, repeated actions every day. And as you continue through these days, you also begin removing habits that waste your life. Maybe excessive social media, maybe laziness, maybe unnecessary negativity, and slowly your environment begins supporting your growth. And you start feeling a sense of control over your life that you may not have felt before. And by day 18 or 19, you might look back at the person you were before starting this journey and realize that you are already different. Maybe not perfect, but stronger, more aware, more focused. And this realization becomes motivation for the final stage of the 24-day transformation. And during the last 4 days, you focus on locking in the new version of yourself, making sure that these habits do not disappear after the challenge ends, because the purpose of this journey was never just 24 days. The purpose was to build a lifestyle that continues beyond it. And you review everything you have learned about yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, your triggers, your distractions, and you make a decision to protect your growth. You decide that the person you have become during these 24 days will continue improving, learning, and moving forward, and you start setting new goals for the next month, the next 3 months, the next year, because once a person experiences real self-improvement, they realize that growth has no limit. And during the final days, you also practice gratitude, appreciating how far you have come, appreciating the effort you have made, appreciating the courage it took to change your routine and challenge your old habits. And gratitude gives you emotional strength to continue moving forward. And by the end of the 24th day, you may not have transformed your entire life completely, but something very important has happened. Your mindset has shifted, your discipline has started growing, your self-respect has increased. And most importantly, you have proven to yourself that change is possible when you stay consistent. And this realization can change the direction of your life forever. Because once you know that you can improve yourself step by step, you will never feel completely stuck again. And the biggest lesson of changing in 24 days is that the power was always inside you, waiting for the moment you decided to take action, waiting for the moment you stopped blaming circumstances and started building your future with daily effort. And every successful person in the world follows this same principle. Small, consistent actions repeated over time create extraordinary results. And the truth is that many people spend years waiting for the perfect moment to change. But the perfect moment never comes, only the decision comes, and the person who decides today is always ahead of the person who keeps waiting for tomorrow. And as this journey ends, another journey begins, the journey of continuing the habits you built, continuing the discipline you developed, continuing the growth you started, because real change is not a one-time event, it is a lifestyle. And the next time life becomes difficult, the next time you feel unmotivated, the next time you doubt yourself, you can remember these 24 days and remind yourself that you are capable of more than you once believed. You can remind yourself that progress happens step by step, and even the strongest, most successful people once started exactly where you are now, with a simple decision to change their life. And if you continue applying what you learned during these days, your future months and years can become even more powerful than you imagine. Because consistency turns ordinary effort into extraordinary success. And the person who keeps moving forward every single day, no matter how small the progress, eventually reaches a place that once seemed impossible. And that is the true meaning of changing your life in 24 days, not becoming perfect, but becoming stronger, wiser, more disciplined, and ready to continue growing beyond limits.